Hey friends, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina, your host with the most, and I am so pumped to go over a brand new car seat with you today. So what do we have in front of us? This right here is the Britax Poplar. What is special about this seat? Well, quite a number of things. Britax is a brand that's been very popular in the United States for, golly, my entire career, so at least the last 17 to 20 years. Very, very well-known brand, known for safety, set the tone as far as safety stuff goes for many, many years, and a lot of nice features about this specific seat. So let's get into what makes this special versus your other style of Britax car seats. So the number one complaint about the Britax seats that I've heard over the years is that they're really big, meaning that they're wide and they're also long. That can generally be a negative, but it can also be a positive. My sister's children were very large kids. I have some friends that have kids that are in like the 99th percentile for height and weight. And for those children, Britax car seats have been fabulous because they generally offer the longest duration of use. So they've been a champion of extended rear facing, meaning leaving kids backward in the seats for as long as possible. And they also generally provide the longest seated torso height out of almost any brand imaginable. So we're definitely a fan of Britax car seats. Something else that is really cool about every Britax car seat pretty much up until now was that they were made in the United States. So this Poplar from Britax is different because it is not made in the US. This is going to be a seat made in China by them. And the other thing about it is that it's pretty compact. So we're looking at an external width of 17 inches. This seat does come with 2 cup holders included. I don't have them on the seat right now, but they are included when you buy the seat, so that's a nice feature. Price point is going to be $299. This color that is shown right here, this is the Onyx. This is a flame retardant free fabric. This is a safe wash fabric, so it's easy to wash and it's going to have no additional flame retardants on it, which is pretty great. It's going to work for children starting at, I believe, 5 pounds and going, let's just double check. Forward facing goes up to 65 pounds. Rear facing is going to hold up to 50, but I'm 99% sure that we can start with a 5-pound child with this seat. And then it'll go up to 49 standing inches in either direction. So it's going to come with a body pillow that will be in the seat. The pillow is clearly marked, so I want to give Britax a gold star because they've had body pillows that haven't been marked in the past, but they've been doing a much better job with marking them. So this reads directly on the pillow. It's got to be used, the lower infant insert must be used for children weighing 22 pounds or less in a rear-facing position. Do not use over 22 pounds or for when it's in forward-facing. So this pillow will come out and it's all clearly labeled directly on the pillow. It's also in the instruction book that's included in the seat that's attached to the seat. I will give them credit as well for an excellent instruction book. This is one of the clearest books that they've ever had. The instructions are very clear, very simple to read with beautiful diagrams in it. So whomever was in charge of that should pat themselves on the back. Very clear instruction book, so that's great. You'll see the seat is 17 inches wide. What is special about that? Well, we know that if we're trying to fit 3 children on one bench, the general rule of thumb is 17 inches wide is about as wide as you want to go with each car seat in order to be able to fit a multitude of other things next to it. So let's take a Britax Boulevard or a Britax One for Life. Those seats are going to be about 19 inches wide, sometimes even feel a little wider. So I'll have people that have those seats that when they have their 3rd child and want to put them on a bench of a car with all 3 of their children, they have to come and repurchase a narrower car seat for their older child later on, and that can be a little frustrating. So the idea with this Britax seat is that it's narrow to start with, so you can just buy it and use it for the entire duration, and if you're going to have 3 across or you just want narrower, you're going to get that. Now, the seat has 17 inches of seated torso height, so that means from the butt to the shoulder, you're looking at about a 17-inch height range. That is very typical. That's a nice amount of seated torso space. You also get a multitude of reclines. So the seat has a spectrum on the side that will indicate, depending on their developmental ability and directional position of the seat, where it can sit as far as where it sits on its recline. So there's a pretty clear level indication on the side of the seat. The only thing I would caution parents about with this seat as far as being a little confusing, they do have special instructions for when you're installing it forward facing with a lap belt only and top tether. So in some 3-across vans, certain cars, you may not have a lap shoulder belt, but with where I am, almost every single seat that I'm installing something like this in would have a lap and shoulder belt, so the instructions on that are pretty clear. So if you're lap belt only for your installation, again, there's some very clear instructions in here on how to do that, and there's some stuff on the side of the seat for guiding that single belt. And again, that's not going to be most people, but just something to be aware of with this seat. Now, getting into criticisms of the seat, I have a few. You'll see on the side, they make a point to show the steel that's in the steel frame, which is awesome. The seat's not lightweight, it's definitely heavy, and that's how you know it's built of really solid and robust material. Something interesting I noticed was on the bottom of the seat here, and it's probably not visible, but on here you have what's called EPP foam. That's not the white foam that you see in some car seats. It's a black foam, which is pretty cool. And that's also, I'm guessing, going to be in the headrest of the seat. Let's pull this fabric up to see. Yeah, so I'm pressing on the interior. I'm not going to pull this fully off. I mean, I could. I'm just lazy. But there we go. So there is our black bike helmet foam that you see that's on the bottom of the seat. I was disappointed that there isn't more foam in the seat. So they put foam at the base and at the head, but if you look on the interior of the body of the seat or like press on the sides, it's just a plastic shell. I'm sure that's to help keep the costs down, but for a brand that's known for safety, I guess I just thought maybe there might be more foam in it. So you'll still get it again on the headrest, which is the most important part. And then they have it on the very bottom of the seat that doesn't come in contact with the child. But surrounding the body, we don't have that bike helmet foam. You probably would see more of that on other style Britax seats. So the seats that are wider, we probably have more of that bike helmet foam. So if that matters to you, something to be aware of. Another thing about this seat, this is the Britax ClickTight style. So these are super easy to install in a vehicle because on the bottom here where it reads ClickTight, if you open up this plate by moving this fabric with this elastic, there's gray buttons that you'll pinch together and this plate will open up. This is what's called a visible belt installation. It's not a blind belt installation. We're able to see where the seat belt goes. And if you look on the seat, it reads rear facing belt path in blue. So we know that the lower anchors that are included with the seat or seat belt, whatever method we're using to install, that's where those pieces go when we do the installation. Now, typically, with most ClickTight seats, meaning all the ones that have come out prior to this, the ones that are made in America, when you're closing your ClickTight, you can almost push anywhere on this plate and it'll snap together and you're clicked in and you're good to go. Here, if you'll notice, there's a little teeny white button. I have found for myself that the only way to really make that ClickTight mechanism engage on this style of seat from this brand is to make sure when you close this, your hand aligns to where that button is. So maybe before on your other style of ClickTights, you push closer over to the side, or maybe even on the back to really give it a good crunch. Here, absolutely critical to push down on that part and look for the re-engagement of those two pieces. It did click. You probably weren't able to hear it. It's much more obvious when I press the button here. You'll see the side pieces pop out. So that's what we're looking for when we close the seat. I'm gonna close it up again. Now, you're not supposed to preemptively click it before you close it. I found the other trick with this seat is to leave the belt having a little bit more slack when it's installed before you close this plate versus your other style of ClickTight seats. So, to put it mildly, there we go. The ones that are made in America, I think, have a better ClickTight mechanism. I'll probably get a lot of negative feedback from viewers for saying that, but it is my opinion. I think that their entire ClickTight legacy is built on that easy closing of that ClickTight component. And I think this is going to be surprising to a lot of people that maybe are already familiar with this, and they might feel that theirs is broken or wrong because it's not clicking as easily as their other ones. It's just something to keep in mind. It's a more specific position that you need to push down on in order to get it to click close. Now, that being said, I'm not real thrilled about moving these production of these seats to China. I went to the Britax factory in North Carolina within the last year, and I saw the actual assembly line, which was primarily women who make the car seats that are made in the US. And to be perfectly blunt, they're not all super young. We're looking at a workforce of predominantly older women. I don't like to think about people losing their jobs. I think manufacturing jobs are very important for the US, and that's something that Britax has with the Marathon, Boulevard, the all-in-one seat, which is the One for Life, the Grow With You. All of those seats are still made in the US. It's just this Poplar and then the Willow infant seats that are currently made in China. And they do have a different ClickTight mechanism. So, yeah, you can say I'm maybe being a bit patriotic, but I still think there's value to having the stuff produced in the US. But the biggest thing about this is taking the production out of the United States helps keep the cost down and keeps kids theoretically safer if more people can have a great seat at a lower price point. So I'm torn. I just think it's important for people to understand that if they're thinking about a Britax that they're maybe familiar with from years ago, this is definitely a different style from them. I would not criticize the seat. I don't think it's a bad seat. It's just different than what they've put out before. So again, we've got a rear-facing seat that goes to 50 pounds, forward up to 65, 17 inches of seated torso height, 49 standing inches for both directions, and I believe, I'd have to double check the expiration date, but I want to say it's like 10 years. So you'll be able to have it for a really long time and use it before it expires, which is awesome. I'm pretty sure it comes with a 1-year standard manufacturer's warranty. So if you have questions or comments, or you would like to add anything, please feel free to leave them below. Also, if there's value to you to watching any of our other videos, please feel free to hit like or subscribe or share this video with someone who might have interest in this product, okay? Thank you so much for swinging by today. We really appreciate our viewership, and yeah, happy to answer any questions, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.